Now, we don't want to be confused about the pecuniary externality. Yeah.
Prices are the fundamental concept of understanding externalities. Like, does that mean that anything, like any like transaction that doesn't involve prices necessarily is an externality? Like if I, like relation between family members, like if bring my cousin some food, like is that an externality just because there's no price involved? Because that doesn't seem like what we would think of as an externality.
Well, that might be why we have a family. That was Coase's, one of Coase's papers was, we don't have prices. He called it a firm. We have a firm as a place where we're not going to have prices. And we're going to have quantities set by the boss. And
my point is that we wouldn't call that an externality just because there's no price there, right? Like, I mean, there's reasons why there's no prices there, but that doesn't mean that they become externalities according to the way we normally think of them.
maybe you would want the property rights definition. If there's a boss, then the boss sees at least shadow prices, incentives for him to coordinate the different members. An omniscient, that was Coase's model of the firm, that the boss kind of knows everything that's going on inside his factory, and he's choosing the quantities, telling everybody what to do, when, and how. And he understands the different trade-offs. So there might not be a price. His left hand might not be paying his right hand, but there would still be the shadow price there, an incentive. Now, of course, organizations don't have an omniscient boss, and that was kind of Coase's question of where's the boundary going to be once the firm gets big enough, or the family gets big enough where the boss is kind of clueless as to what's going on. Maybe he should say, we need prices when it gets to a certain distance away from what I can control well. And so there'll be trade-off between planning in ignorance in your own organizations versus letting the market go. And the market's going to have its own costs. That's why we have institutions where we don't let the market go in the family or in the firm.
I guess maybe my question is just, would you call that intra-firm allocation? Is it all externalities just because there's no prices? Or is that what we're...
Well, I would analyze it with shadow prices. And if I were, thinking about imperfections in, governance within that organization, then it would be wedges. There would be a shadow price in one place that's different from the shadow price in another place, and that's a problem. Yeah.
The word charge, I think, is what's confusing here, right? Your shadow price answer, it's the price's face in some sense. They don't need to be charged in the sense of a transaction, right? But you really care that he didn't take account of that in his decision. And that may be because the boss made the decision for him, right? And that decision reflected, I guess the word charged is the word that I think
I see.
is causing the confusion here. Because a lot of times there are prices, but you don't see them show up in exchange of money.
Right.
Right? Like if I didn't pick my wife up at the airport, there would be a price. And, you wouldn't charge me, but I would pay a price. Right?
That's right.
What I mean here. And that's kind of what the boss does too, right? If you screw up, you pay a price. But it doesn't mean there changes hands. Go ahead, somebody else has questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to go off what Carly was saying. So if we have a market where there doesn't exist a price, so like I bring home scoop from a family, is part of the idea why we consider that an externality because we're essentially shutting off what is potentially a more efficient allocation in the market if we were allowing for a price. So it's almost like we're not allowing for the value that a price brings in the dynamics of the market.
Well, the issue would be that decisions are being made without all the costs and benefits being considered. And the price is in the market. The price communicates the relevant costs and benefits to the decision maker.
Right, that's the cost we're talking about. There doesn't exist a price. We cannot communicate what's the most effective allocation of resources independently of what you want.
And when an individual doesn't care about the big picture, but the individual gets to make a decision to the extent he has a choice. And the question is whether he faces the incentives to take into account the different costs and benefits that may be well beyond him. And that's kind of the definition that Bob worked with on Monday. Was looking at carbon and individuals deciding how much oil to use or how much to heat their home, how much to drive their car. There's a cost of that activity that they don't account for. There are many costs of that activity they do account for, but the climate cost is one that they don't account for. And so Bob was giving us an example of an externality.